This video tutorial highlights 4 highly effective steel mace conditioning drills for your deep inner core and your obliques. So I have 2 Steel Mace Vinyasa instructors here. If you haven't heard about our brand new Steel Mace Vinyasa 100-hour curriculum, definitely check it out with the link below. We're gonna walk you through 4 body weight primers for the core. So go ahead and start on hands and knees. We've got Coach Renna and Coach Xander here. So starting on hands and knees, spread your fingers wide all the way down to the webbing. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. Super important here that you're not tucking your toes because then all the force goes into your knees. We want to distribute the weight all along the front line. So by pressing actively into the floor, you're starting to recruit your anterior front line. So from here, tuck and round your back coming into cat pose. Let your head hang heavy here. Then inhale, shine the heart forward, spread your collarbones, drop your chest down to the floor. Take about 5 reps, syncing your movement with your breath. And the purpose here, we're priming pitch, which is a very important degree of freedom in the front line or the core. We'll also be priming our tilt as well, which is present when we add the mace to load. So you'll see all of the Steel Mace Vinyasa exercises are very coordinated so that you're conditioning similar movement patterns that you would do when you actually load the exercise. So go ahead and come to Quadruped as you finish. Find torque in your arms, find your shoulder pack. Press the tops of both feet into the floor. And then kick your right leg back. You can start with your toe on the ground. Elevate the foot to hip height here. Come to fingertips of left hand. Remember, everything's progressive in the Steel Mace Vinyasa practice. Extend your left arm, lengthen through the crown of head, crown to coccyx alignment. From here, knee to elbow, round your back, become concave here, and then kick back, flex the foot, engage your glute, keep a mind muscle connection with that glute. Exhale, tuck and round, ha, and inhale. Notice the breath style. In the warming up or the priming section, we're using Ujjayi breath. Exhale, you'll see that Coach Xander and Renna have their lips sealed. Super important in the warm-up phase to use that Ujjayi or victorious breath. After about 5 reps, float the leg down, switch sides, and remember, systematically kick the left leg back, toe on the floor at first, driving through the heel. Secondly, elevate the foot to hip height. Come to fingertips of left hand. Be careful not to lock out the elbow here. Extend through the right arm. Exhale, knee to elbow, ha, round the back. Inhale, lengthen, neutral spine. Exhale, tuck and round, and inhale. 3 more, exhale, ha. Building a little heat in the core goes a long way so that by the time you get the mace in your hands, everything has been activated and primed and you're ready for that load. Last one. And then float the hand and knee down. Take narrow kneed child's pose, athletic child's pose, so corkscrew the eye of the elbow up. Pack your shoulders. From here, inhale to lift, step right foot between the 2 hands. See that feet are on railroad tracks, so you might need to heel toe your right foot slightly right. Take hands to prayer, pack your shoulders. Inhale, glide forward, heart open. Find a hip flexor stretch here. Exhale, shoot and round, ha, stretching the shoulder blades apart. Inhale. So here, we're priming the body for being in a kneeling lunge position, which later on I'm gonna show you a very non-conventional way to train your core with the mace. One of the few exercises that you can do loaded that primes the lateral bend, or that actually activates the deep internal and external obliques while you're moving. So after you finish about 5 reps, bend the front knee, reach up and out of the waist. Keep your hands sealed, palms squeeze together. Curl the back toe under, lift the back knee and hold, squeeze your back glute on. Now separate the palms, inhale. On your exhale, hinge forward, place the hands on the inside of the foot here. Squeeze the knee against the arm. Pack your shoulders, find that scapular depression, and then pull your right leg back, coming into a hollow body plank position, squeezing the glutes on. Lower the knees, hips to heels, narrow kneed child's pose, ha. Inhale, lift and step, left foot forward, feet on railroad tracks, hands to prayer, pack the shoulders, glide forward, hip flexor stretch, inhale, chest expansion, and exhale, shoot and round. Now, what you'll feel here is every time you come into the kneeling lunge with chest expansion, you'll feel the hip flexor come under a slight stretch. So the repetitions present here allow us to lengthen that area. pulp the fascia and get the ground substance to move between different layers of fascia. After about 5 reps, bend the front knee, reach up and out of the waist, curl the back toe under, slowly lift the back knee and hold. Inhale and exhale. Become rigid in your posture, torque in the legs, spiraling the thighs outward. And release the hands, flex your wrist, hinge forward with control, plant the palms on the inside of the foot. Draw the left leg back with control, find your hollow body. Lower the knees, hips to heels, child's pose. Last primer, inhale, lift, step your left foot between your 2 hands, hands to prayer. Glide the hands up. So point your fingers up, thumbs crossed, inhale. On your exhale, lateral bend to your right. And back to center. You can play with this with the knee down, a couple of reps. If you have the balance and you're working towards coming into a high lunge with lateral bend, curl the back toe under, lift the knee, establish deep inner core activation, so draw the navel to spine, keep the pelvic floor engaged, and find your lateral tilts. Last one. Separate the palms, flex the wrist, hinge forward with control. So there's this moment, pause here, where your shoulders are packed. It's almost like you're doing a handstand on the wall in front of you, creating stability, back glute on, hinge forward all the way down, plant the palms, fingertips in line with toe tips, recruit your lats, draw the right leg back with control, lower the knees, hips to heels, child's pose. Immediately lift and step, left foot forward. And everything works together in this priming progression. Extend the arms. Squeeze the biceps with the ears, inhale. On your exhale, lateral bend to your left and center. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to lateral bend. Option to stay here, option to curl the back toe under, lifting the back knee, engaging the back glute, lots of torque. Draw the navel to spine, keep the chin lifted off the chest. And breathe. After about 3 to 5, release the palms, flex the wrist, hinge forward with control, pause and hold. Plant the palms on the earth, recruit your torque in your shoulder pack, draw the left leg back, hollow body, knees down, in child's pose. Listen carefully, inhale to lift, pack the shoulders, pull your body down with control, elbows brush the ribs, inhale, lift the front body, baby cobra, exhale, lower, press back in child's pose. 2 more, inhale to lift. As you lower down, wrap the eye of the elbow forward, pull your body down with control, making it a 90-degree bend with the arms as you lower. Inhale, lift the front body. Exhale, lower, press back in child's pose. This child's pose to baby cobra progression is super beneficial for anyone that's struggling with low back pain. Those little extensions go a long way. So taking us out of the concave position that we often find ourselves in a chair, and strengthening the back line, strengthening the extensors. And one more core primer before we get the Mace in hands. You can go ahead and inhale, lift, and get there in the same way, same fashion you just did. And once you're down there, slide your elbows underneath of your shoulders and recruit again your shoulder pack. So this is shoulder elevation. Now shoulder scapular depression here. Bring the shoulders far away from the ears. Now imagine you have a band underneath or on the outside of your elbows and you're pulling your band apart as you drive your elbows back. You should feel your lats turn on here. Now listen carefully. Scoop your pubic bone towards your navel. Slowly start to lift your hips about 3 to 4 inches off the ground. Once you get there, drop your chest down just a little bit. Lengthen through the back of the neck. A little shaking is totally normal. Keep on lifting in your low back as you drop your chest down. You can stay here from the knees. Couple reps. You can also curl the toes under, lift the knees, and come into your full forearm plank position. Now, you might see us shaking a bit here. Draw the navel in, lower down. Take a rest in Sphinx. That shaking just means that we're reaching our neural edge. This is one of the best primers for internal and external obliques. But it requires you putting your mind in your muscles, so really getting the core, the deep inner core, and the torque happening from your lats. So let's try it again. Rip the ground apart with your elbows, your whole entire forearm, not just the tip of your elbow, your palms, the skin and fascia underneath as well. Once you have shoulder pack, scoop pubic bone towards navel, engage pelvic floor, kind of like you're stopping the flow of urine midstream. Elevate your lower back. Once you reach this point, the tendency is the back wants to overly round and start to come into this like hyperconcave kyphotic curve. Drop the chest down, squeeze your glutes on a little bit. Option to curl the toes under, keep those glutes working, lengthen through the crown, look at your thumbs. A little shaking's great. Lower when you need to. And find your counter pose. So here's Sphinx. So in Sphinx, I'm coming into a great degree of extension in the spine. If I was to come into Cobra, I might even be lifting my elbows off the floor, depending on how often you're training spinal extension. All right, go ahead and take child's pose. And curl the toes under, come to down dog. Pedal the feet out, right and left, right and left. And then we will do our down dog jump to a yogi squat all together for you. So practice this at home. This really helps you, allow you to kind of get the jumping component of your vinyasa. So from downward facing dog, everyone together, inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees towards your belly, not the ground. Look forward and jump the feet on the outside of the hands. Drop your hips all the way down, arms straight ahead, and rise up. So these coaches have been working with Mace for quite a while. They are certified Still Mace Vinyasa instructors. So their form is going to be really tight, and I know this is not going to happen right away for you guys, but I want you to do your best. So firstly, reach down and grab your Mace in a spine intelligent way. So whatever that means to you, for me, I like to engage spinal activation as I'm lifting. Take your Mace to your right side. So you guys might see it on the left for us. So we're gonna all be on our right, you guys can be on your left. So take what's called an order position. So just the Mace in the right hand. Press the hand to the top of the Mace, resist hard, squeeze your glutes on, and start to create torque in your legs. And then reach your other hand to the mid grip, facing out. Now start to rip your Mace apart. Inhale. On your exhale, crush. We're gonna move into mouth breathing here. The first conditioning exercise is big wheel from mountain pose. Now just the placement of the arms, so glutes are engaged the whole entire time, legs are straight at the knee joint. Start to cartwheel your Mace over, just the arms, no spine, and bring it back to the starting position. So those of us with low back pain or just working with the Mace for the first time, just start with just learning that arm angle. Eventually, you can start to cartwheel the Mace over as you laterally bend your spine, hold, elbow touches the rib, and then pull it back to the starting position. Again, exhale here, and here. So there's a double exhale. Exhale here, and here. Now, the common misalignment is to go completely flaccid in the glutes, meaning I'm just standing here passively. So our job is to firstly bring your forearm below your chin every time. Keep your glutes firing, rip the ground apart, recruit your deep inner core. 5 more reps. We call this the practice round, where we just blueprint it in our body. All of these are components of our Still Mace Vinyasa training curriculum. We're really programming for sport-specific attributes of both yoga and mobility. As you finish, switch sides. So finding landmarks, super key. We've got our order position with torque, finding that resistance. Reverse guard position, top hand faces out, glutes on, deep inner core on. So I'm drawing this part of my core in versus letting it hang out. And from here, go ahead and cartwheel, just the arms, first rep or 2. If you want to go straight into adding that lateral bend. The movement here is happening from the upper thoracic spine. So you'll see from behind, the movement is happening not down here at my lumbar spine, but it's happening in my upper mid-back. And there's minimal rotation in this exercise. So common misalignment is to rotate either backward or forward. We want to stay in between 2 panes of glass. All right, next progression. You can take a knee, please take a knee safely. Left leg forward, right leg or right arm in order position, find reverse guard. Squeeze the back glute on, press the top of the foot firmly into the floor. Hollow body position, see that pelvis and core and trunk are aligned. From here, same drill. Cartwheel, bring it back. You're just in a different base position here. So changing our base of support is progressing the exercise just slightly in such a way that we have to balance a bit more, recruit different stabilizers, The mace is moving through space slightly differently. You really work on arcing your spine a lot. And every time you arc, what you'll feel is a slight stretch on the hip flexor and the psoas on the right side. Last one. And then switch. Right, opposite leg forward. So you always want to have the mace in the opposite hand as the front leg for this particular drill. So first rip, then crush. See that forearm is below the chin, see the elbow is married to the ribs, see that shoulder is in scapular neutral position, and begin cartwheel. Glute is on the whole time. So if my glute is not on, what happens is I might lose my balance and fall. So you'll be able to tell really quickly if you are lacking posterior chain activation. So put your mind in your back glute. Cartwheel. Last one. Switch sides again. Using the opposite side. Again, finding the names or the landmarks. This is our reverse guard position, shoulders packed. You can do another round of the kneeling. If you feel comfortable, curl back toe under, lift back knee. Deepest bend in the front leg, back leg is straight, elbow brushing the rib. Begin cartwheel. Return to starting position. Again, cartwheel. And back to the starting position. Aim for about 10 reps in the warm-up round. Eventually you can go into your timed intervals. Once you've learned the exercises. If you find yourself wobbling, another progression or regression would be to drive your back heel against a wall so that you can have a little bit more balance. Last one. Stand up. Switch sides, keep feet on railroad tracks. Big step back with the back leg. Notice how you get there. Recruit the torque in your legs. Find your spinal alignment and begin cartwheel. So we refer to this in our Steel Mace Vinyasa teaching curriculum as a closed hip core conditioning drill, and the degrees of freedom that we're working are pitch. In order to get our legs into this position, we had to adjust ourselves from neutral, of course, but we are maintaining this version of an asana, so recruiting lots of balance, lots of hip flexibility on the back leg. Last two. Last one. Keep the torque in your arms. Step forward. Chugging breath, inhale and exhale. Final variation. So moving into an open hip asana. If you're not familiar with yoga, take the mace down. I'll stagger forward a bit. I'm going to place your maces down, guys. Take a nice wide stance, arms wide enough that when you point your hands down, that your hands and outer ankles align here. Take the hand to the right, my right, your left hip, and externally rotate it here. So notice your hip bones will face about 45 degrees here. This is normal. And the ribs have to lift and rotate in order to come into warrior two. If I was to stay in the same plane as my hips, my hands would be here. So in order to achieve the clean warrior two position, I'm here. All right, let's take a ghost mace. So ghost mace in the opposite hand, straighten front leg. Inhale. On our exhale, bend the front leg. We find our warrior two. Then we're going to continue over into an arc, rainbow, and then return back to the starting position. Let's grab the mace. So assuming you have a solid warrior two in your practice, find your reverse guard mace in the back hand, elbow married to the rib, turn your back glute on. From here, cartwheel the mace over, imagine you're dumping water out of the mace here, elbow brushes the inside of the rib, and then bring it back to the starting position. Again, cartwheel, and back to order, squeeze that back glute on, exhale, and inhale. You can do a double exhale here if you'd like, up to you. The farther you take your mace away from your body, so let's say I was to come out to here, a lot more load on my obliques. So as you start to progress, there's definitely other layers of complexity. Ren and I were just doing a workout the other day where we integrated big wheel. You can do our demo to Skandasana. So pulling the back leg up, go ahead and try it out. Skandasana here. Return to warrior two, reverse guard, hit your landmarks, cartwheel. Skandasana with over grip. The mace serves as a way to keep your body upright. You're resisting that load. This may or may not happen for you today, but just good to see kind of where you can go with it. Last one. Good. From here, switch sides carefully. Take your time. Pivot your opposite toes out. Mace and reverse guard. You do a little practice one here, just finding your warrior two. Seeing that your butt's not doing the old surfer butt. Tuck it underneath. Very technical word, the surfer butt. Okay, begin the cartwheel. Recoil. So what we're doing here is we're loading a transition that often occurs in yoga. So this transition of cartwheeling the hands down to the ground, every time I bear load here, what I'm doing is incrementally increasing my ability to find maximum hip extension and hip rotation. So really finding that nice glide there. You can progress that to big wheel to Skandasana on the next one. Here, over grip. Find your warrior two, cartwheel. You can do over grip. You can also do two-handed flag with leverage. If you have any shoulder issues, old injuries, actually dislocated my left shoulder, so I noticed I need to regress it into my two-handed flag for this one. To create that scapular stability. Last two. This location healed pretty darn well. It was about almost a year ago now. And clubs and mace are definitely the way to do that. Okay, bring your feet back to mountain pose. Place your mace down, chugging breath. Inhale and exhale. All right, so those are your exercises. Your turn. Put some time, a timed interval on. I recommend 90 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, 2 rounds through. Eventually, as you start working the Steel Mace Vinyasa programs, it'll be 2 minutes of work, so a minute on each side and 30 seconds of rest. We do specialize in all different types of HIIT protocols. They're highly effective for increasing metabolism, getting strong, and really developing that training effect that you're looking for. Hope to see you in the program. Click the link below and let's get in touch.